Hello, everyone. So, hello all. Hope you all are doing alright. You might notice that I do not have my stream donations up in my description because I would rather people actually donate to some causes. I have selected a GoFundMe over in Chicago to help rebuild some small businesses there, so if you do want to donate, I ask that it go there. Anyway, other than that, it's going to be a chill draw stream today. A late stream because I have not been getting sleep properly, so I've been waking up later and later. As a result, my streams start later and later. Anyway, next week, by the way, there is not going to be a stream, because I'm going to be in another stream. Anyway, let's get down to business. Probably enough stream to socials. Quarantine sleep schedule, it's more stress sleep schedule. Go ahead and just...
Ooh, you're playing the spike, you're running around and collecting pod leaves, getting high, getting high, getting high. Ooh, you're playing the spike, you're running around and collecting pod leaves, getting high, getting high, getting high. Ooh, you're playing the spike, you're running around and collecting pod leaves, getting high, getting high, getting high. Ooh, you're playing the spike, you're running around and collecting pod leaves, getting high, getting high, getting high.
Fuck yeah, 420 spike, yeah.
Blaze it, bro.
motherfucker.
Ooh, you're playing the spike. You're running around and collecting pod leaves. Getting high, getting high, getting high. Ooh, you're playing the spike. You're running around and collecting pod leaves. Getting high, getting high, getting high.
Do what your parents say to. Do what your parents tell you. Do what your parents say. Get a job, make some money. Do what your parents say to. Do what your parents tell you. Do what your parents say. Get a job, make some money.
Ooh, you're playing the spike. You're running around and collecting pod leaves. Getting high, getting high, getting high.
It's not possible.
Ooh, you're playing the spike. You're running around and collecting pod leaves. Getting high, getting high, getting high.
I should probably also Facebook. Full stream that I have had as of late. Aired.
I fucked up. I don't think this is gonna. I need to redo.
Okay. So, in next week, I'm going to be in a D&D game. It's going to be streamed. We'll post about that more closer to the time. We do actually have another video coming out this week as well. But my character that I'm playing is going to be a Grung Noble. So that'll be fun. He's a prince. A frog prince. Good boy. Initiative. Hermit. Hee-ho. Also, that's not a cowboy hat, that's a musketeer hat. It's got the big feather. That's really oversized. Difficult.
I'm rocket ship. I got a shield in front of me. Oh yeah, I'm a rocket ship. I don't know what this song's about.
Damn it! Where is my inspiration?
Flying through the sky at the speed of light. Here I am, a rocket ship. I can't find my inspiration in life.
Son of a bitch. What am I aiming for? God, if I only had someone to believe in me. God, but who truly am I? What's it all mean?
I'm Kirby, a rocket ship form. Going to space, going to space. You don't need anybody to believe in you when you believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you're a fucking coward. I wanna see the stars, it's my favorite thing in the world. I'm Kirby, a rocket ship form. Going to space, going to space. You don't need anybody to believe in you when you believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you're a fucking coward. Believe in yourself. I wanna see the stars, it's my favorite thing in the world. Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Right on the razor's edge.
Gimme, gimme, gimme!
Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
It means everything! Gimme, gimme, gimme!
Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Right on the razor's edge.
Gimme, gimme, gimme!
Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
It means everything!
I'm a fucking rocket ship. I got a shield in front of me. Oh yeah, I'm a rocket ship. I don't know what this song's about.
Damn it! Where is my inspiration?
Flying through the sky at the speed of light. Here I am, a rocket ship. I'm a fucking rocket ship. I got a shield in front of me. Oh yeah, I'm a rocket ship. I don't know what this song's about.
Damn it! Where is my inspiration?
Flying through the sky at the speed of light. Here I am, a rocket ship.
That was really nice. Thanks. Really, I don't know what the song was about, but like, it was a little esoteric for me.
It
but,
didn't really make much sense.
yeah. I mean, I like abstract art as much as the next guy.
But geez, man, fucking find a point maybe. A theme or something? Motifs?
YouTube won't really flag anything as a kids show just because of the art style. Like, if you are an artist, you get plenty of warning if your stuff is currently being like reviewed and everything, and you can manually override any other review. The only reason it would be set back to a kids show is if it basically gets directly investigated by a human, and then they decide, hey, this isn't a parody for adults, this was made for kids, which has happened in a few cases. There's one animator who made some MLP parodies, but his stuff was deemed not adult enough, I guess. But really, the system that YouTube currently has for COPPA could be significantly worse. It actually is kind of... Actually, come to think of it, if you have a lot of repeated video, or if you have a lot of videos and you accurately label them, YouTube will actually like expedite your approval process, stuff like that for future videos. I mean, like, basically, if you prove that, hey, you are being honest with what you're uploading and you're not just trying to make kids content, constantly and trying to hide it, YouTube basically is like, okay, yeah, we see that you're being legit here. Here's a, you now have the ability to get approved faster and you get more. And like, when it comes down to it, well, there has been some issues here and there. The way YouTube is approaching this, they are specifically trying to target things like, they're specifically looking for like those Elsa Spider-Man bits. That is their big primary concern. At the very least, animators and stuff on YouTube and stuff can avoid most of the flack from it, though not all of it, granted. Like, I'm not saying COPPA by any means is good, but dealing with it is manageable. Kind of like the copyright system. It's not good, but it's manageable. Basically, you don't have to worry about things like Hell of a Boss getting flagged as for kids, because there are plenty of checks in places that keep it from getting to that point. And again, the only reason a video might get marked as that would be if the creator has abandoned the channel and they're not checking it. By the way, y'all can hear me, right? Although,
I see a wee beast with foil leggings. Wherever that meme goes.
Discord voice.
So is this like a swashbuckler frog then?
Is a noble.
Mm.
He was cursed and turned into a frog.
Oh,
Now
nice.
He's seeking a way to undo his curse.
And
It's very campy, and it's going to be very.
Decided he wasn't going to let the frog form get in the way of his ability to fight. He's like, well, I'm going to train myself from a new frog form.
Well, I mean, he was already a capable fencer, things like that.
Yeah, I imagine it's kind of takes a bit getting used to because there's a lot of footwork going on, and just suddenly your feet are not how they used to be. Imagine having your knees on backwards. Might have a bit of an impact in how you were trained before.
A little bit. I mean, a lot of, like, movement and stuff, and you could also make an argument would probably be a bit instinctual in some respects. So, like,
Yeah.
it might be rough at first, but you'd pick it up really quick.
Oh yeah, most likely. I wonder how many actual footwork things you do in sword fighting would actually be much more difficult if you had knees like that.
You'd have different approaches that you'd use instead.
Yeah. Because there's going to be some things you can do with bending backwards knees that you can't do with forwards knees, I imagine, as well. Though I don't know much swordsman's footwork. That'd be a cool thing to learn.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hello, Angel.
I'm drawing anyway, so I won't be saying much.
Alright, fair enough.
Speaking of which,
The frog looks like a musketeer, so I guess you could sort of say it's like almost like a Three Musketeers thing. There's three of us. Something like that, I don't know.
Oh, sorry, you're not going to kill the president for Republicrats? Wake up, sheeple! Open your eyes!
I'm having trouble figuring out what I want to do for the main color of his outfit. Like, I want to make it like something royal looking, but I don't want him to look like a pimp.
so yeah, I guess purple's out.
You could do black and gold potentially, but that might be a bit too much.
It's a little over the top, yeah.
I mean, he is a noble, so a little over the top is fine.
Well, even for a noble, like who's adventuring, I feel like it's a little over the top.
I know, I'll admit I've got like a few characters who I imagine wearing that kind of outfit, but
Hmm.
it's a cool aesthetic, you have to admit.
It is. I guess it depends on how they feel about their position.
Sure. little bit of a gold trim usually works quite well on a lot of outfits, I think. So whether as long as it's a bit dark as well.
Yeah. God, octoling hair spots are a pain in the ass.
See, gold trim looks really good, like, most of the time. Could potentially do brown, but that makes it look a bit too piratey, I think. I don't think you'd ever get a nobleman who wears, like, kind of dark brown.
That actually kind of works.
Red makes me think of... Yeah, red is a very musketeer-y colour, which does work too.
Maybe kind of like a more... kind of getting close to that color, but at the same time maroon, like, also still a very royal color.
Yeah. To be fair, purple's a royal colour too, just of a different type. The old Greek thing. Only the highest of people are allowed to wear purple. Partially because they're only people who can afford it. That may be a little bit too purple. Actually, it does keep looking pimpy to me when I look at it. Yes, Danny Kissikan, the pivot meme is finished, but at the moment it is Patreon exclusive if you want to see the whole thing. For now. There is something so wonderful about tiny characters who will absolutely kick your ass if you mess with them, or just act like they're just cute.
Well, this guy doesn't act like he's cute.
No, if someone thinks he's cute, they'll probably get their ass kicked, I imagine.
Kind of funny as the party's shaping up to be like all shorties at the moment.
Oh, nice.
We've got, so far, Gnome Barbarian, Gnome Druid, Got a elf wizard actually, but they're like a teenager, so they're like 4'10". They're gonna be the tallest character. It'll be funny.
Nice.
For the youngest.
I remember seeing something about the idea that gnomes can actually be carried around quite easily. Like, I think if you get a falcon familiar, if you use Falcon Familiar and get something like a falcon or something like that, I think
No,
it
an
was.
imp familiar. Imp familiar, and then use reduce person on yourself. That cuts your weight down by like quarter, and then suddenly you are within carrying capacity. For actually, I think you could carry yourself with Mage Hand.
Yeah, at that point, it's definitely like Mage Hand. But actually, I'm gonna look this up again. So I've done this research before.
The thing is with carrying and stuff, like, as long as it can support your weight, you can be carried. But if you want to be if you don't want to be inhibited and you want to actually like ride it, it has to be a size category bigger than you.
That's fair, but the important thing is like it doesn't matter that you're moving like at half speed. What is important is that you're being flown around by a small bird. That's like the most appealing thing about it. It doesn't matter whether you're actually able to use anything without it. It's just the fact that you can just be flown around like that.
It seems
Like,
odd that your sheer size would be a factor when weight's already accounted for.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, something that's large, but the same weight as something small, smaller than it. Well, you'll often find that the larger thing that weighs the same amount is going to be significantly harder to carry. Simply because you can't just put it in one place; it's distributed over a large area, and you can't even necessarily support it all with one hand and stuff.
Cumbersome.
Yeah.
Depends on how you're doing it.
Like, I have had, because like I do some, I've done some woodwork in the past, and in the past I carried some pieces of like joinery bits home, and some of them were decently sized. They were light and easy to carry, like especially if you use two hands. But to carry them a long distance, while the size they are, is not nice.
I mean, that's fair, but I'm just imagining like your tiny little bird carrying you by your collar.
Yeah, that's great. Those kinds of things are wonderful. Right, one of them was specifically like lighter than the rest.
An extra line
Yeah, they only weigh 4 pounds. This one was a full cut head or something. And falcons have no, must not be a falcon. Some kind of bird, I swear. Oh, hawk. I think it was hawk.
I won't be moving on to colors this time.
How was carrying capacity worked out? Was it like 5 times your modifier?
That's how much you can lift or drag. Otherwise, your carrying capacity is 15 times your strength modifier. So this song is from Suika Kaisen, and that little Toho bit made me cry, and you should all watch it.
Oh, that's the end. Yeah. It's quite sweet, really.
I never thought I would ship Yoshika Kaizen. Here we are.
What a time.
I read that it's called Suika Kaizen, not like Yoshi Kaizen. Because, I mean, Suika is involved in it, but it's like she's a supporting character, she's not one of them.
Yeah. Wait a second. I don't think I ever noticed that Find Familiar mentions you can have an octopus. Like, that must have gone completely over my head. Well, you can't use attacks. So you can use the ink, because that's not an attack.
You can use any non-attack.
So you can't tentacle, unfortunately. Yeah, you can ink. So Hawk has 5 strength, which is a -3 modifier. Times that by 15. Yeah, you can definitely have a Hawk just like fly you around quite easily. Enlarge reduces it by an 1/8, right? Which, yeah.
Alright, EAAA, guess what? You are banned from the stream. Goodbye.
What happened? Oh, spamming?
Not spamming, he's inciting. He's being incendiary.
Ah! So the usual. Usual stuff you get occasionally. So...
Anybody who wants to support the notion of, hey, this guy committed $20 of fraud, that justifies him being strangled to death, get the fuck out of my stream.
So yeah, that's ridiculous. In other news, that might be a bit funnier, I guess. If you are a gnome in D&D, anything that's not a deep gnome, you can. So you weigh 40 pounds. You're reduced by reducing. You turn that to 5 pounds. And hawks have a strength modifier of 5, which means they can. A hawk familiar could actually very easily carry you around without much strain on it. Because that would mean, like, what, the 10 is their lifting capacity, and you're half of that.
Interesting.
So, yeah, you could just be a very, very, very tiny gnome, just wandering around and terrify people by having a hawk just fly down and carry you off into the sunset. Actually, how much is the rat weigh in D&D? Is that mentioned anywhere? Probably not.
Probably mentioned somewhere. That one goes there.
Alright, I'm gonna put somebody else in timeout, because this is what I'm gonna say on this. It doesn't fucking matter what he did. There is a huge issue with police brutality in America. There has been a huge issue with police brutality in America for the past several decades. A lot of it is targeted to Black Americans, though this does wind up affecting everybody. If you can basically say that not all cops are bad people, then I should hope that you should also be able to recognize that not all protesters are fucking destroying everything.
I agree.
This stream and this channel is pro Black Lives Matter. If that is a problem with you, you can unsubscribe and you can leave. I don't want to deal with you.
Yeah.
Also, the argument of both sides are wrong is a fucking cop-out and is basically an excuse to not look at the situation critically because you can just dismiss the entire thing as, oh, it's two stupid sides fighting. There might be issues on both sides, but those issues are not equal in the slightest. And to say that both sides are wrong is fucking disingenuous and is intellectually flawed.
There's a few too many good apples to say that about bad, to point out the bad apples.
Oh, no, what winds up happening is you have two bad apples who basically shove down a 75-year-old man and cause a seizure. They get suspended, and then 57 quote-unquote good apples resign from their positions, still getting paid for it, to support those two quote-unquote bad apples. So how many bad apples are there actually? You tell me. When you do math, what's 2 plus 57?
In this case, I was talking about the protesters having some bad apples, and most of it being good apples. I was talking about the other. I was not talking about that. So that's the.
Here's the thing: when you're getting into the protesters and stuff, a lot of protesters have basically been actively trying to defend some of the businesses that are there, and have been trying to get some of the looting and stuff to stop. Police, however, a lot of them are taking solidarity with the cops who are abusing people and who have been charged with crimes, instead of actually calling them out. One of these groups is better at policing their own than the other.
Yeah.
Yep. Do I want to put a pencil on there? Yeah. I hope my thinking aloud isn't too distracting.
Well, thinking aloud can be done in screaming aloud, potentially, if you... depending on how your brain works.
I am not seeing though.
If people like to see him, I'd be very concerned. That was an in-joke, everyone just ignore that. Oh, hello, that's a new spell, but it's apparently exclusive to a subclass of wizards?
Are you talking about the gravity spells and stuff? From Wild Mount?
Graviturgy.
That's Wild Mount.
Why is that exclusive to a subclass? Why is it even listed as a spell?
I have to have the spell card and all that, all the technical details. Granted, I guess they could put it under something else and it would be functionally the same. I don't know.
I think if these were a thing, I'd just argue these to be used by wizards in general. So what's that spell in? Actually, technically, you could argue the bards can gain access to these spells pretty easily. Let's use these wild mount spells. What the bloody hell? A cantrip that makes it so they deal 1d4 necrotic and then make the enemy fall prone.
Yep.
That's a bit ridiculous.
Really?
For the cantrip. That's
Keep in
like...
mind- keep in mind that this is only like... It's 1d4 damage. It's basically it's analogous to Vicious Mockery.
Yeah, but the thing is, Vicious Mockery doesn't have that big of an effect. It doesn't give advantage, potentially, to most of your teammates.
To be honest, the prone one isn't really that big of a deal either, because it's actually giving advantage against range attacks.
Yeah, I get that, but in that case, you just don't use the spell. You're a wizard, you have access to shit tons of cantrips.
And also, at the same time, keep in mind that you can also do the same action via shove. And a shove is a lot easier to basically kind of get off, because if you are basically somebody with expertise or high strength, you will have a much higher chance of getting a successful athletics roll than they do a failed save.
True, but this is a wizard doing it. In this case, then it can be done from a range, whereas a shove
That does be in melee, but it can be done in place of one of the attacks.
True. Maybe I should do that more often.
Basically, like, the range prone thing, it's not that big of a deal because, like, the save is a little bit easier to make. What is the save that it uses, by the way?
This uses a con save, so yeah.
Con saves, monsters usually have pretty good con saves.
Another spell which is Gift of Alacrity, which
Jordan.
is basically just Bardic Inspiration
Quiet.
on initiative.
Quiet. Jordan. Stop being fucking stupid. If he didn't break the law, guess what? He shouldn't have died even if he breaks the law. Like, none of this would have happened. It's not, you basically are blaming the entire system of police brutality on one person, rather than on the system that exists instead. What you're making is not a fair point in the slightest. I want you to go and assess what you are saying. Anyway, yeah, you are out of the stream. Goodbye.
So, back to Wildmount, I guess, maybe? You want to keep talking about that? So, one of these spells is, moving on, yeah. One of these spells is Gift of Alacrity, which is basically just add a d8 to your initiative roll, so sort of like a Bardic Inspiration almost. Cost takes 1 minute to cast and lasts for 8 hours. First level spell. Seems like a perfectly legit spell, not really overpowered, perfectly reasonable. Sort of like Mage Armor, but not as good. Not really, but still. Now there's also Gravity Listing.
When somebody's timed out Craven Slayer, they can't actually speak at all. He was originally timed out so that way I could address what he said, but apparently he wasn't fucking listening at all.
Yeah. It be that way.
Yeah. I feel like it's good for chat to try and actually stop talking about politics right now, because I think this isn't really going anywhere. Unfortunately, some people are going to be stupid no matter what.
Don't get too antagonistic.
Unfortunately, Danny, that is exactly what they do, however. I think somebody posted it earlier. It's called qualified something. Anyway, this is my frog. I don't have a name for him yet.
Hell yeah.
I look at that thing and I just sort of think of that meme that you've probably seen, a little video with the frog, with the guy just sort of saying a weird Wikipedia article on frogs that's like in a very aggressively Scottish accent or something. It's like, a frog with a small beast with a wee beast with small legs. They are brown or grown, or I can't remember exactly how it goes.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's good.
There can be dire colors. Anyway, see this new spell in thing. It seems to be to create a sphere where, for around every enemy, you deal 2d8 force damage to anything that fails to save, and their speed is halved until the end of the next turn. Which
So it's basically the same thing as a Ray of Frost.
yeah, but in a 10-foot radius. Well, it's stronger than Ray of Frost. Yeah, it's basically what you'd do for Ray of Frost if you spent first level spell slot on it, I guess. 2d8 force damage in an area though, 10-foot radius area. It's not bad. I think. Pretty decent spell even without the movement speed halving, I think. Let's see what's the next one.
Yeah, I almost need a microscope and a sharpened eraser sometimes.
Oh, okay, so basically there's another spell which is a second level spell that lasts for an hour, constant time 1 minute, range touch. It costs gold, and effectively what it does is it gives someone one use of the lucky feat for an hour. Not bad, I don't think. But 100 gold to use it. Can't say I'll end up using it most of the time unless I really need it. Okay, I like the name of this one, Immovable Objects. Another gold consumer. How many does consume gold? No, it's just those two. Oh, it's basically like an arcane lock for 25 gold to basically mean that people who you haven't designated are going to have a very, very hard time moving it because it becomes magically fixed in place. And if it's fixed in the air, it can hold a lot of weight. 4,000 pounds of weight. But other than that, it causes to fall.
Shamiko is not from Itadaki Seikei. That is a hentai anime. Shamiko is actually from... I can't remember the full name of the show, but it has her name in it. And it's about a demon girl who is awakened by her ancestor, or she basically finds out that she has an ancestry of demon lineage, and her destiny is to defeat a magical girl and reclaim the glory of her bloodline. And she winds up befriending the magical girl, and is too weak and pathetic to actually fight her. It's hilarious, adorable.
That sounds like something I need to watch.
I really want to watch it, and I can't find out where to watch it.
Heck.
Unfortunate.
Not even an official site?
Nope. That's the issue. Is like the only place I can find it is on like a paywalled site.
Oh, that's dumb.
I think I will call my frog Frederick von Krook.
Wait, hold on. He changed his last name off being turned into a frog.
It's a pseudonym.
Ah.
Kind of like Frog from Chrono Trigger.
Jade, what the fuck do you mean interweave? I literally have a Shamiko GIF in the corner. I don't think there's inner in here anywhere.
I mean, it is inner as well. It's just it's internal, external, and
Facial.
yeah, that's a word. Something like that.
I think it's just an ongoing joke at this point.
Okay, I've just seen a spell that I actually think is. Oh, why does that have to be conjuration? I've just looked. There's this spell in Wildmount, and it is the exact kind of thing you'd want an arcane trickster rogue to use. It's called Wrist Pocket, and what it basically as it describes, you flick your wrist, causing one object in your hand to vanish. The object, which only you can be holding, and weigh no more than 5 pounds, is transported to an extra-dimensional space where it remains for the duration. Until the spell ends, you can use your action to bring it back and stuff for a free action. Free hand, use your action to return the exchange. Oh, you can literally just like pop it back in and out, as long as at any point within the hour. That's cool. That's literally the perfect way to smuggle in some kind of secret key. Just like materialize it in your hand and just stick it in the key hand and just disappear it again. Why does that have to be conjuration? It makes sense, but still. That's awkward for trickster rogues. I love that. That's a really cool spell. There's not even a verbal component. It's literally just somatic. The only thing you do to start it is just to flick your wrist. It's just a magic. It's a magic trick. That's all it is. Oh, that's put a smile on my face.
Yo, motherfucker, listen up to me. Whenever I go to the Renaissance Fair.
Oh no, that's a cool spell.
Let me start over.
Okay.
Pulse wave, open somatic.
Krog.
And it's a 30-foot cone which deals 66 damage, and you can either choose whether it pushes or pulls people 15 foot towards or away from you. Which, yeah, I like that. It's sort of like Thunder Wave, but it can potentially be bringing them close too.
Just like a yo-yo, I go back and forth, yo. Back and forth on people liking me. Back and forth on people liking me. Yo, everybody, here's my my story. I really like cake, and my name's Rory. It's my favorite pastry. I sometimes eat it hastily.
Oh, that was a nice rhyme.
Oh, thanks, man. Every time I go to the store, I eat it and I eat some more. Yo, 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 listen up to me. Every day I have to go pee and I eject myself from the grump room. Cause I got...
Is this enough D&D talk on a D&D character stream?
What?
You want anything after this, or?
I got another character to draw, and this one is for a...
I go back and forth, yo. Back and forth.
All right.
Back and forth on people liking me. Back and forth on people liking me. Hey, yo. Just like a yo-yo, I go back and forth, yo. Back and forth on people liking me. Back and forth on people liking me. Yo, do you remember when I was rapping about cake? Now I'm gonna rap
Game grommet.
about a lake. This rap isn't
The
very
fuck is the
fake
grommet?
because it's a rap about a lake.
Well, like Wallace and Gromit? Yeah, cool. I now see this thing, Game Gromit. Yes, of course. Gromit! That's a terrible impression of fucking Wallace.
He's a
You've for-
Grommet, actually.
You've forgotten the cheese! I haven't seen that show in ages.
A ring or edge.
Still need to watch Kazooie.
Through a hole.
Like, I really want to watch it with a friend because it just seems really funny.
I've watched like the first episode.
7:49.
I should watch more of it.
Mm.
Well, honestly, the main thing I seem to know about it is that one little dance thing that happens. Well, and some memes, of course, but most of them involve Chico, it seems.
Alright, give us a rap.
So it's all the pink-haired girl. She is apparently the entire show. So not even being kind of a side main character. There's a lot of these gravity spells added in Wildmount are very focused on like
Because there's
area control.
there's two subclasses, and that's basically just what Matt Mercer opting for.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I like the idea that just you have more control over where to place the enemy, so you can land cool combos and stuff. Like gravity sinkhole seems quite cool.
Yeah.
It's literally just gigantic singularity, pulling everyone straight towards the center. At which point you could like bloody flame strike them if you want. Makes all these spells that are really powerful but have small areas just way better. Because you can combo with your wizard friends.
Oh, actually, one thing that kind of reminds me that a lot of people get confused over. Like, a lot of people see Moonbeam, and they're like, hey, it has a 5-foot radius. That means it only affects a 5-foot area because you put it on the center and it doesn't cover anything else more than half other than the square it spawns on. Except, fun little fact, if it is a spell that targets a point, it actually goes on a intersection of a grid. So as a result, Moonbeam instead targets the 4 squares around it, rather than the
if
1
you
square.
wanted to, anyway.
Yeah. So like, it goes on a corner and then it gets all 4 adjacent squares. And when you do area of effect spells like this, it's so much easier to figure out where they go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any square that basically it's kind of weird because like your movement, you can move diagonally just as easily as you can laterally, but area of effect spells, they occupy a circle instead of a square, so like you can move basically like if you're on the center of a fireball that's about to drop, if you run 20 feet north, you still will be in range. But if you run 20 feet diagonally, you'll be out of range. So weird.
It's hard to often visualize sometimes without some kind of actual ring being made of the same radius, because you think, wait, would that save me or would that kill me? Yourself. Also, I'm playing in a game actually right now where one of the people is a bit of a pyromaniac because they're an evocation wizards. That's exactly what they would be. Just fireball, 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 and it seems they're going up. They're going to be going to a point where, like, one of my character in my character's backstory is, and that character's kind of afraid of fire. Like they're like a nice wizard and very sweet, but like they're pyrophobic, and just this person's very obsessed with fire, so this is not going to end well. We get a very scared NPC. Okay, I've just seen the spell Temporal Shift. That is an advanced counterspell. Like, you could argue that's actually stronger than counterspell. What it does is, when a creature you can see is about to make an attack roll or cast a spell, you can literally just shunt them out of the dimension for their turn, and then they come back on their... Wait, was it... Yeah, at the start of its next turn, it reappears where you just shunted it out of, and it has no idea that what just happened to it. It doesn't remember you even casting the spell or being affected by it, just the spell didn't work or something, or they didn't actually hit something.
What level is this spell?
It's 5th level, so...
That explains why it's stronger.
Yeah.
You're earning a 5th level spell slot, which those are precious, because you only get a few of them, but they are the start where things start ramping up.
Yeah. 6th level spells, those are the ones you only have like one of for ages. You get more 5th level spell slots than you do 6th level, but either way, yeah.
That's really how it works.
You could consider it like upcasting counterspell, but it's sort of like... Okay, they do make a wisdom saving throw, but yeah, I guess you can sort of decide
Well, if it has a save involved.
Very high...
If it has a save involved, it's significantly less powerful than counterspell, because that is the entire point of counterspell is, oh yeah, no save, just fucking works.
But you do need to cast this. But for counterspell, you do either need to upcast it to the same level of their spell, or take a chance with the base cost. And with the Temporal Shunt, it doesn't. The DC doesn't increase based on what your opponent is doing. So I think if you see someone casting a 9th level spell, you're better off using Temporal Shunt than you are using counterspell. If you are unable to cast the same, if you're unable to cast a 9th level spell to counter it. But imagine casting a fucking 9th level counter spell just to stop some guy from doing something, and then just getting counter spells back with the reaction. Countering counter spells.
Be like this guy and have the word counter repeated until it goes off the screen.
It actually happened in the game I played on Thursday. Or the wizard is just like, aha, I've got to cost 5 on this big area, and this person's like, aha, no, I counterspell. He's like, no, this is happening, I'm counterspelling you. Luckily, that doesn't go off infinitely because it uses a reaction.
Yeah. So then it's which size has more reactions and more counterspells.
Yeah. If you have multiple, if it's just an entire group of wizards against another group of wizards, and it is just the most hilarious thing if every single one of them knows counterspell.
I guess it's entirely implausible, because theoretically one good spell could wipe out the entire group.
Yeah. Just imagining if someone just like someone tries to cast Fireball or something, and then just every single one of them ends up burning a 3rd level spell slot to counter each other. Just to do it, and depending on who has more people, is who actually gets to use it. Does he get destroyed or not? Yeah, you would not have 3rd level spell slots by the end of a wizard duel. That's something I'd definitely say. Anyway, let's look at this next high up spell, Gravity Fissure, because that sounds cool. Refers a ravine of gravity in a line originating from you that is 100 feet long, 5 feet wide. Each creature in that line must make a Constitution saving throw, taking 8d8 force damage on a failed save, or half as much damage if successful. Each creature within 10 feet of the line, but not in it, must succeed on a Constitution saving throw, or take 8d8 force damage and be pulled toward the line until the creature is in the area. So it's just kind of pulling everyone into a line of a lightning bolt, but the 6th level. So yeah. In fact, that sounds exactly like an attack from this guy in Dota, who I believe his name was Elder Titan, I believe his name was. It just does a stomp, and every single enemy who's near it just gets pulled towards them and have like their health halved or something like that. Quite strong. And I've just seen this 7th level spell called Tether Essence, which is basically like Warding Bond, but forceful and doesn't reduce damage. It just makes it so they both take the same damage. But it does also make it so they can restore hit points as well. So it can actually be used beneficially to an ally if you want to do that. Or alternatively, you can just basically just shackles a pain an opponent.
I would really actually like to try playing a character with like a missing limb or just similar disability and stuff, and just see like how you have to adapt to that. I really want to try like doing a monk like that.
Monk, interesting.
Jeez.
Well, with a monk, I argue, which I think is perfectly reasonable, that unarmed strikes don't have to be a fist; they can be a kick.
Yeah, they actually can. That's actually specifically because, like, specifically, it's an unarmed strike. It's not using a arm, or it's not using an armament referring to a weapon. So it can be a kick, it can be a headbutt, it can be literally anything, just not a weapon.
You could go
actually no, it even can be a weapon.
It
It can be like the blunt side of a weapon, for instance, like like butting him with the end of the handle.
Yeah, I suppose.
But the entire point is that it's just not using the weapon, like the armed part of the weapon. Yeah. You were still armed when you were unarmed, essentially.
Yeah. My character Nit, the one I use for my profile picture, he like was always carrying around a sword, and in the other hand he had a Bible. So he just like carrying around the Bible, swung with a sword, and just kicked the shit out of people. Which is quite cool when you use stunning strike on a large creature and just like
power of Christ compels you.
Just gigantic foot straight up into their fucking chin or something for a stunning strike. Oh god, I love that fucking character. Still one of my favourites. Don't want to gush about him though. Okay, this is probably one of the coolest spells names I've ever seen, and it's called Reality Break. Anything that's called Reality Break is going to be promising.
Now imagine if there was a spell called Mind Break. Oh.
Oh no. Well, you could consider Feeble Mind to that, but that's also terrible.
That's weak though.
Yeah, fair point. Anyway, no, not getting into that. You shatter the barriers between realities and timelines, thrusting a creature into turmoil and madness. The creature must succeed on a wisdom saving throw, or it can't take reactions until the spell ends. The affected target must also roll a d10 at the start of each of its turns. The number rolled determines what happens to the target, as shown on the Reality Break effects table. At the end of each of its turns, the affected target can repeat the wisdom saving throw and end it if it succeeds. So on a 1 or 2, Vision of the Far Realm, the target takes 6d12 psychic damage and is stunned until the end of the turn. On a 3 to 5, Rending Rift, the target must succeed a dexterity saving throw or take 8d12 force damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one. On a 6 or 8, they get Wormhole. The target is teleported along with everything it is wearing carrying up to 30 feet into an unoccupied space of your choice that you can see. The target must also takes 10d12 force damage and is knocked prone. And finally, Chill of the Dark Void. The target takes 10d12 cold damage and is blinded until the end of the turn. So either way, they're taking a lot of damage. And yeah, it seems like the weakest one is the Rending Rift, because it deals second least damage and all it is just dexterity. And that one actually requires a save. The other ones don't require saves.
I kind of feel like we're getting a bit of power creep by the...
So this thing isn't perfect, and in fact, Rending Rift has the highest chance to occur. I think second highest. No, just the tied highest. There's 3 numbers for it. Same with Wormhole, and Wormhole's the one that teleports and deals 10d12 and lands them prone and teleports them randomly. Oh no, you actually choose where they land, so you can just teleport them right in front of your warrior or fighter, whatever. Yeah, it's a cool spell though, and it's 8th level to be fair, with concentration of 1 minute. 60-foot range. This is such a cool thing to land on someone, though. I really like that.
So what is this being that's being drawn?
This is another character. It's somebody's Warforged Warlock. They wear masks.
Oh, cool.
Interesting.
Masks are cool.
Yeah, that's a pretty sick mask.
Oh, I just found another spell. Oh, that sounds cool. Time Ravage. You've acquired 5,000 gold to use! Oh, what is this going to do? Target creature can see within range, putting its physical form through the devastation of rapid aging. The target must make a constitution save or take 10d12 necrotic damage on a failed save, half as much successful. Save fails, the target also ages to the point where it only has 30 days left before it dies of old age. In this age state, the target has disadvantage on attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws, and its walking speed is halved. Only the Wish spell or a Greater Restoration spell cast over a 9th level slot can end these effects and restore the target to its previous age. That is kind of awesome.
That's one that
You
you
just-
use as an NPC on the to fuck with them.
Yeah, that thing could kill them with the damage alone. And if it doesn't, then they have 30 days left to live, or you find someone who is strong enough to restore it. Or a wish spell of some kind. This person, I think,
Brutal.
this is absolutely brutal. It requires not 5,000 gold to use. That's if you want to go do by gold consumption. Otherwise, you need an hourglass filled with diamond dust. Which, yeah, makes sense. Hourglass and stuff. And that's an instantaneous effect. You just. Oh, that's so cool.
I'm gonna switch devices.
Fair enough. Right. Now another one called Ravenous Void, which has a range of 1,000 feet. That is also unique. And these like 9th level spells are cool. 20-foot radius sphere of destructive gravitational force centered on a point you can see within range. The spell's duration, the sphere and any space within 100 feet of it are difficult terrain, and non-magical objects fully inside the sphere are destroyed if they are being or carried. The sphere appears at the start of each year turns until the spell ends. Unsecured objects within 100 feet of the sphere pull towards the sphere's center. In occupied space as close to the center as possible. Sorry.
So some other character ideas I was thinking of for my the game that I'm gonna be in. Another idea I had Angel. Another character idea I had was actually going to be a centaur paladin or cleric, and they were going to focus on cure wounds and cure disease and stuff like that, and they would be called the Centaur Forged Disease Control.
Nice.
You claim you hate puns, but you love them, really.
Listen, they're okay when they're used to create a character.
Took me far too long to get that one.
The other, I was also thinking of maybe doing something unconventional, like maybe like a Valor Bard centaur and stuff, and they just carry a huge ass instrument that would be too big for anybody else, but it's fine for them because they're a fucking horse.
Yeah.
So like
Like a double bass or cello or something.
They have like a mini pipe organ on their back or something, or like a bagpipes or something. A double bass or like a cello would be a little bit cumbersome because that'd have to be up front. That's not something they could put on their back. But a tuba would work.
True.
Some other ideas I had. I also was kind of interested in maybe trying like a dwarf warlock, because they get medium armor perfect. They get plus strength and plus con for 2 important stats, and then go blade lock and just focus on not grabbing like debuff spells, and instead focus on grabbing spells that rely on that just either immediately like do damage, or they are buff spells and utility oriented. So like then they would be like a blade lock that would actually not be a hex blade.
Just run around with a sword and be more like a
It'd be a non-charisma based warlock essentially.
Sounds kind of like what you might do for a what's it called? Eldritch Knight.
Kinda. It's like the entire point would basically be it's a mechanical reason strictly. Like the character idea and stuff, I'm not really sure what to do like wise form. But the point would basically be like, hey, I want to see a method of playing a blade lock without having to be a hex blade. I don't really like the concept of blade basically completely invalidating the class or the other class option. Like I'm fine with it being the best at I'm fine with the hexblade being the best at being a blade lock. What I'm not fine with is it completely invalidating the reason to go any other. It's good, but it shouldn't be that much better. That a lot of the things that it gets should be rolled into the base class.
So,
Like I still attest that Pact of the Blade should by default use charisma, not strength. Because I mean, already Warlock is going to be very, very gimped on a. They're already gimped in regards to like armor and stuff because they only have light armor proficiency, and they'd have to either multi-class or take a feat in order to get.
Hmm.
And on top of that, Hexblade is getting like they have an ability that lets them crit on 19 at level 1. It should not be on level 1 in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's like usually a really high level thing.
They have an ability that adds additional damage. They have an ability that lets them get charisma for damage and stuff like that. Like, really, Hexblade would be totally fine. Like, nobody would notice if Hexblade had never started with improved criticals. I don't think anybody would have ever complained. They would have still said Hexblade is probably the most powerful warlock.
Mm. That reminds me that one subclass I do not see being used very much at all is spell sword wizards.
You mean Spellsinger?
That's it, spell sword.
Or Bladesinger?
Yeah.
That's because it's not very good.
The concept is so fun, though. I think
It's fun, but it's also kind of badly done. Like, I remember seeing one video saying like, hey, this actually should have been a prestige class. The other issue with it is that it's one of the few racially locked classes, and it's out of the Skag, which most of the stuff in the Skag is not very good. The cantrips out of Skag are fucking excellent, but Storm Herald, or the Battle Rager Barbarian, the Bladesinger, and the Storm Sorcerer, those three are kind of the weakest out, and the Banneret Dragon Knight. Those are the 4 weakest subclasses that have been produced to date. Ignoring the Beastmaster Ranger. So, like, really, I kind of gotta agree, Bladesinger would work really well as a subclass, or even just making its ability a little bit more usable. I don't know. At the very least, if you do go Bladesinger, you still have a full kit of spell slots available. But it's like, why would you want to use your extra attack and stuff like that when your spells are going to be stronger?
well, you could also just enhance your spells and stuff. For also, you don't need to use spell slots to just wax on with a sword.
Yep. Does it allow you to use intelligence for your attacks? I know it's into damage, but is it to attack rolls as well?
Actually, I'm going to check that. It's so while your blade song is active, you gain bonus to your AC for doing intelligence. Your walking speed is increased. You have advantage on dexterity things. Bonus constitution. Does it actually?
Yeah, there you go. That explains why
It
it's...
doesn't say that. Oh yeah, there's no bonus to your attacks at all.
That explains why it's not very good then.
No attack rolls or damage. Yeah, I thought that'd be better. Could be a dex one, admittedly, but I mean, technically, if you were an elf, you'd have a decent dex anyway.
I mean, you're getting a +2 to dex. That's not going to be... It's going to make it better than others' defaults, but it's not going to be... it's not automatically going to mean you have amazing dex.
No, but it means it's at least going to be decent, I think.
Yeah, there's Tulok the Barbarian is his channel name. I don't really like the idea... Sometimes I kind of am entertained by some of the choices he makes and the justifications. The one issue, and it's not so much him, it's more just like... You kind of want to be a little bit cautious about just bringing another character from media into D&D and just playing them. Because it kind of... like, there's 2 issues that you can run into. One, you start expecting like, hey, well, this character does all this stuff. Shouldn't I be able to do all this stuff too? And you start looking for excuses to basically get more DM fiat or things like that, or you try to do things that literally D&D just doesn't have the mechanics for. The other thing is that it kind of boxes you in personality-wise. Like, it's way better to, when you look at a character from media, to use them as an inspiration source and make a character inspired by them rather than that is them. See you, the guy.
Yeah, one of my favorite characters was in part inspired by character. He's by far the most evil characters, and he's just he was fun. Shouldn't stop talking about my own characters.
Yeah, like, to be fair, the character that I'm playing, the Frog Prince character, he is based on a meme, but at the same time it's also for a one-shot, and I worked with the DM and we came up with a very funny twist and backstory that is going to occur. Most likely, anyway. So I'm looking forward to that.
What if someone tries kissing him and turning him back or something?
Oh no, he's not going to be returned by a kiss.
But is it if someone tries?
That potentially could happen. But, yeah, keep an eye out, by the way, guys, because next week I will have an announcement about the stream that I will be in. It'll be over on another channel, so there will not be a stream next week. However, PVO2 will be back next week. I am not updating this week because I've been stressed, and it doesn't feel right to kind of do an update this week. And also, like, in PVO2, I just kind of had the big climax bit. Kind of want to have a little bit of a cooldown, personally, before I work on the actual cooldown in the webcomic.
Yeah, that makes sense. Get into the mentality of the show, really. The show? Comic. Could consider it a show, but not really.
Wish it was a show.
That would be pretty awesome, but you'd have to have someone else do it, I imagine, because you don't want to animate all that.
Nope. Also, real talk, directing isn't fun. I've done it before, many times. Directing isn't fun. It's hard.
I feel like it'd be easier if there was just some way to get people to understand exactly what you mean sometimes.
Well, the issue as well is, like, I had to operate as both a... Like, I worked as both a director and producer, and, man, it can be hard to kind of keep things organized while also working on it yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's also sometimes frustrating because you'll see some people and it's like they're not experienced enough, so they're trying their best to do something, and it's just not the quality you want, and you're like, okay, I could do this in about 3 hours. Do I let this person continue working on it for 6 hours, or do I just do it myself? And it's frustrating because you like get trapped about what, you get little paradoxes like that about what you do. Best way to spend your time, or you get all your work done and then all this person's work done, and even then, is it a good idea to do that, because then they're not using it as a learning experience? Better to train people so that way they can be self-sufficient. At the same time, deadlines are deadlines. Feels like a no-win situation.
Long-term versus short-term, really. But
Oh, by the way, who's been keeping up with my webcomic? I hope y'all liked the recent update.
yeah, it was cool.
Hello.
I was here.
Hello, Drew.
I was personally really not expecting for there to be the I'm gonna say a little treat. I'm not gonna say exactly what it was.
The monologue.
Okay, you were just gonna say okay, fair enough. Yeah, I wasn't expecting the little the voice bit of it.
Yeah. I really wish that I could have animated this chapter. Like, originally that was my plan, was to animate the fight scene as well as like the monologue as the finisher. But it's like, man, just ran out of time and drive.
Yeah.
And you saw how many basically updates there were and stuff. Like, I would have had to have all those updates essentially ready by the time that I announced that I had canceled the next animation. So I would have had to have all like the past 4 months worth of updates ready 4 months ago.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fun. So if you feel like you have time later, you could always go back and try animating it.
I mean, I'm going to be working on other animations. There are some scenes in there that I for sure am 100% going to animate. And like this one I was a little bit iffy on it. I really wanted to animate it, but I didn't know if I could. But there are other scenes out there that will 100% be animated. Because there's no way to get the impact that I want without animating it.
Would one of them be with the kaiju?
Was it?
Would one of the animations be with the kaiju? For reanimating?
No, I'm not talking reanimating. I'm talking about animating new scenes for upcoming scenes.
Okay. Alright, got it.
Not animating that panel that I edited for memes.
You know.
Yes. Dorito hair bit. I'll be honest, I was a little concerned you might be a bit upset with that, but I also at the same time didn't think you would be.
Yeah. I mean, for 100, it was 100% cursed. But I think honestly the worst part of it was fucking turning Socket into Snoop Dogg. Oh, fun little fact, people. If you are getting a commission from somebody, doodling something badly is significantly more helpful than not doodling anything at all.
Oh, yeah.
This has made doing this commission here, or this request, so much easier. Like, this is not a detailed image and stuff. This was drawn with a mouse, obviously. Yet this gives me so much fucking information. It is so incredibly helpful. If you're ever getting a commission and you can't draw yourself, still draw it. You won't regret it. And the artist will love you for it.
I've sometimes tried doing poses. I always try to, but sometimes I just really can't manage it with...
You don't have to do poses necessarily. Even just like something that like represents like, hey, these are the colors, etc. is incredibly helpful.
Oh yeah. I'm thinking of when getting a commission of a character I already have. I guess. Actually, speaking of which, probably. Yeah, it's giving me something I need to do, actually, thinking about it. So I got someone to, just one character of mine who I've been wanting to have drawn for a while. Because he's one of her characters and I just can't really draw, and I need someone who's able to sort of get the attitude behind him down, because he's very pretty, but also very menacing, and it's kind of, I don't know, you need a lot of lighting and stuff to get that right, I think. Just the way I imagine it.
Yeah, I love the Old Spice Mario.
I guess that classic song.
I don't think I heard it.
It's Rose.
I mean, I'm imagining if it's with Old Spice, it'd be silly either way. I miss those sad stuff.
Yeah. Terry Crews is still doing stuff though, which is nice.
Good.
Got his fight with fucking justice system holding so aggravating. He got so fucking screwed over, and he's very lucky that he was, like, it's very good that he was able to kind of get out, or not get out, but that he's still able to basically do work, and that so many people have basically come out in support of him. Brendan Fraser kind of ran into a similar situation a while back as well. Like, I'm very glad that Brendan Fraser's also kind of back.
Yeah, same here.
Not in full force, but
I mean, from what I've seen, his works on one of those DC shows, I forgot the name. He did really. His performance was really well done. So he's doing good. I don't know the name of the show though.
so I'm currently playing a game of Pathfinder. The campaign is called Hell's Vengeance, and you basically are playing as villains. And it's fun, but like, we are the worst villains ever. Like, we're helping out a hospital in our town. Like, our reasoning behind it is actually fairly sound and stuff. It's like, hey, we need to win over the people, so helping them out in these respects and making sure that they have the facilities they need, so they don't go to the Iomedians and stuff begging for help, will help us out in the long run. But it's just funny because it's like, yeah, we're a bunch of villains. We save hospitals. We donate to charity. We practice justice.
Well, that's just diabolical.
We're evil, but we're not assholes.
Yeah. It's like, the joke I made was, we're saving the hospital so that way we can bomb the puppy orphanage later.
The long game. I did one villain campaign at one point, and I ended up being the only person who was actually someone who was legitimately an evil character. Someone who was completely deranged and definitely not okay in the head. Everyone else was like kind of one of those villains who does bad for good reasons and stuff. My guy was just like, no, genocide, mate. Genocide on everything ugly. Was specifically what it was all about.
Oof. I wanted to play one evil character. It was a sorcerer, but DM said no.
I mean, I can understand why not in that game.
Evil. I mean, I wouldn't be downright evil. I mean, I'd be evil, but within the law. If that makes sense.
So you mean sort of like So my mind's just blanked. Not like one of those characters that you sometimes get, and people get horror stories of, D&D horror stories. With some guy who just decides that being evil means he needs to screw over all the other players.
Yeah, no, not like that evil.
That's not called being evil, that's just called being a dick.
Yeah, that is being a dick.
So I was gonna say, being lawful doesn't really make you less evil necessarily. It just changes your methods.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But it makes it more easy to play with. Like, what are you gonna find easy to play with? Someone who's chaotic evil and just goes around destroying things randomly, or someone who's lawful evil and will probably be more likely to come up with a plan, and even if it's sort of not the nicest thing, it does sort of still coincide with what you're going for. Type of thing.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, we all want to do this thing. This guy wants to stab a few more people than I'm comfortable with, but he's still kind of working with us, so... Just the good kind. A villain who is not gonna just kind of ruin everything.
Maybe just be like a maniac.
Yeah, he's just a bit... He's a bit crazy and dangerous, but... Or just plain evil. But he's not uncontrolled, and he's not, downright unable to be dealt with. Like, you can reason with him, you can, do all sorts with him. You talk with him, but he's probably still not going to agree with you. He might stop stabbing someone for like 5 seconds if you ask really nicely, but he's still very keen on stabbing someone.
Yeah, like that's his end goal, but he's willing to hear it out.
It kind of just an entire villain who his only villainous thing is just the fact that he just wants to stab people. He's very nice. He's a nice guy. He's nice to talk to, but he will just like stab someone mid conversation.
Pretty much.
Okay, I gotta be honest. That just feels like the LOL. I'm so random, crazy, chaotic, evil character. Ooh.
Yeah, that's a character who I would never ever play seriously.
Right.
I feel like it could be kind of fun finding reasons for a chaotic evil character to work with the group.
Yeah.
Well,
I've seen...
in Hell's Vengeance, for instance, one of the things that they have is a trait called erratic malfactor, where basically you put on a front of being basically a normal, like, a decent citizen who's like a patriot and stuff, but you are looking for any excuse you can to basically just go fucking ape. And like as soon as you get a chance, if you get a chance to be cruel or you get a chance to murder somebody, you fucking jump on it and you will make any excuse you can to get there. So like and like if you can make something look like an accident where you brutally murdered someone when you're actually brutally murdering someone, you take it. And it's like that's actually, believe it or not, the trait my character has. They technically aren't chaotic evil until they are on their mutagen, and then their dark side comes out, and they will fucking maul the shit out of anything.
Chat, that's not evil, that's mildly unpleasant.
Yeah, pretty much everybody in that party is kind of like the evil with a purpose kind of thing. Like my character, he's obsessed with science, so he's doing whatever he can to basically find new cures and new experimentations to advance society and things like that. Even if that means like experimenting on children and things like that. Totally comfortable with that idea. Or experimenting on the elderly and things.
That vaguely reminds me of that one panel from Spider-Man where he's like talking to a pterodactyl. He's like,
I don't want
with
to.
this, you can cure cancer, but I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn everyone into a pterodactyl.
I want to cure everyone into dinosaurs. Yeah, to be fair, Atreus is kind of both. He would cure cancer and also turn people into fucking dinosaurs. Later on, he actually gets an ability to take an animal, mutate it into a horrible, monstrous anthropomorphic form, and then sick it on people as a pet. It's called torturous transformation.
That actually is sort of similar to the first character, to the villain character I was talking about earlier, the one who was the only one in the villain, one evil in the campaign. Because like he had this whole thing, because like he wasn't initially wasn't intended to actually be playable, more just like some kind of villain who was really difficult to deal with. It's like he would turn people into monsters, or which we ended up sort of deciding was just basically flesh golems, and a lot of them. And yeah, DM towards the end, as he just sort of decided fuck it and just went really homebrew of everything. He just sort of gave my character the ability to do that. So that was fun, just having a few flesh golems. Actually, no, they weren't even flesh golems. He ended up giving me some flutter fleshes. Although they actually died really easily, considering the scale of the battles we were doing. Which, I didn't know flutter fleshes were a thing before then. Those things are terrifying. Like, the gigantic bunch of skulls with flesh coming on. Wings with bone and viscera. Probably not a very nice thing to see. Especially not when you're just having a tea.
Yeah, actually, pretty good color scheme with the reflection.
The way I kind of got, the feel I kind of got for looking at the art he gave me is the character, like, the mask and stuff kind of looks, it's very sick colors, which, considering he's a warlock, that's fitting.
I'll be perfectly honest, whenever I think of a warlock, the color that always pops into my head every single time is purple.
Yeah, purple always, but...
I actually imagine black.
Well, how do you have black light?
Well, that too.
You gotta think about, like, what color is the Eldritch Blast?
Palpatine lightning.
Eldritch Blast is something you can sort of interpret in multiple different ways in the way it's actually fired, because it doesn't really describe what it looks like, does it?
Yeah, well, all it is this arcane energy, so you have complete creative license over how that looks.
Like,
make it
oftentimes
pink,
I imagine,
purple.
like, have you seen, in Skyrim with, what's his face, the person in the Dragonborn DLC, where like you would shoot balls of tentacled mass towards someone, and they just sort of explode, just sort of like that, but significantly faster and more painful.
Actually, my fighter warlock has like DBZ Elder class because his patron is celestial, and not like some pack god or something like that.
Interesting. I kind of like to imagine like super multicolor static.
For seal and stuff, originally my idea was doing kind of like a teal color. Though Jade kind of said it was like pink, kind of colored it for me. It's like, okay, I guess it's green. It's green and purple.
All right.
It fluctuates. And yes, this is the Ceatus theme from Monster Hunter 3. You.
3.
Words we needed.
3. Ultimate.
Ooh. Honestly, I love Monster Hunter 3. Monster Hunter 3 was so good. Like, people had issues with the swimming and stuff, and while it was a bit janky, I still kind of liked it. Like, I don't play much of World, but I've played everything past 3. Played 3 and everything past it. Because love those games.
Alright, so got 2 indie characters drawn. There is one more thing I wanted to draw.
Cool.
Ooh.
Move up
Alright.
because the song is too long. Tired of Night in the Woods. Here we go, Ace Combat.
Frog. I saw Frog.
Alright, time to draw another one of the animated doll characters.
Nice.
Nice. That this one is
the
going.
last one. It's
Last 2. This one is going to be a small-sized one.
small porcelain.
Bab.
Are you gonna make it creepy?
Yes, it's going to be a porcelain one.
No,
I just need to figure out what class would be good for this one. I think I'm probably something wearing armor, because I didn't do an armored class yet. I did a monk and a bard so far.
So something like paladin, fighter, along those lines.
I was gonna say something that focused on psychological damage, but
I mean, that's what you would expect, but at the same time, I also did the bard. Like, bard would work way better, but I already did a bard, the wood one.
yeah.
Like, I like kind of going against the grain a little bit.
That's fair.
Sort of like making a high elf who is not an asshole.
Or making an ace bard who gets offended if you flirt with them.
Eventually, I do plan to play a non-hoarding bard.
I'm playing as one actually in the game I was mentioning before with the pyromaniac wizard. He's less of a horny bard and more of a wholesome bard. He's like just really nice to people all the time. Everyone just sort of likes him because he's just so polite all the time.
None of the characters I play are ever horny.
I don't think I'd be comfortable playing with a horny character, if I'm perfectly honest. The closest I've gotten is a character who just has not, like... I don't know, he just sort of makes sex jokes. That's the closest thing he gets. Well, actually, and another character who was definitely more horny, but he was also dangerous and evil as hell, so that's not really a thing. This was not the one who... It wasn't been a campaign though. This was not the flesh golem guy. That person was not. No.
My Arachne's not horny, but she likes to just flirt with everybody.
That's fair.
Seduce me.
This spider wants to smash, oh no! So you're thinking like, super heavy armoured, or just sort of like, armoured enough that it might sort of show off how the body looks and without covering too much?
She really doesn't want to smash most of the time.
What
has
about
high standards.
What about smashing skeletons, though? To dust.
I thought you were going to say smashing pumpkins for a second.
She'd probably shoot them instead.
If you had a character with a jack-o'-lantern head and you said you want to smash him, would he be scared or interested?
Scared bone.
Yes.
Given this character drill. Here.
Nice.
Like
Nice.
it's a
Short stack.
Hello.
Oh my god, the moment you fucking said short stack, Salty appeared!
Oh my god.
Hey, Salty.
That's fucking... I could not have been timed better!
That was good timing.
Yeah.
I don't think... Sorry, that's fucking brilliant.
I sensed a disturbance in the stack for.
That is the best thing that's happened in these live stream chats so far. It's like talking the whole "Speak of the devil and he shall appear," of like just saying someone's name and suddenly they walk into the room. But in this case, it's just you mentioned something and sort of just burst down the door. It's like, "Where's the short stack?"
It's like that one scene from SpongeBob where he mentions Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, and he just like tears through the wall. You know that scene?
Yeah, I know the scene. Yeah.
Exactly that. Also, hello everybody. I am dead after work.
Ah,
You need a bit of comedy then.
Yep.
Ow.
I don't think I'll elaborate. I'm just color.
Yeah, that's fair.
Really, really tired.
You sound it.
Well, you're gonna get to see a porcelain short stack
Beautiful.
in full plate arm.
I feel like I should give her a more interesting pose. But it just, oh, I'm standing with my weapon. Dynamic. The others.
You could
Anything
something about her makes me think of like kind of Bo Peep, just with the drill hairs and the big stick.
Yeah.
Could do some kind of pose similar to that.
That doesn't suggest a pose.
Sorry, so it'd be like something more flirtatious, possibly. I don't know. More.
I would
I don't get
say
it.
one where she's pointing her weapon to the viewer.
Was
Could
it?
do that too.
I mean, all the others have been pointing weapons.
Huh.
So, it'll be in
Point.
line.
It's just like I'm just gonna give one of them where we have that cursed gun ammo that I use all the time. You know the one. Post in case I want to put that as well. I don't know why I thought that saying Bo Peep would fucking help with any kind of pose. That was the dumbest thing. But that kind of attitude, I guess, is more what I was thinking. You know, That
Or actually, maybe
Video?
maybe we should do a ranger for her rather than
that might work.
a fighter.
Yeah.
That might work better.
Are
Maybe.
Rangers,
Hang
are
on,
Rangers armored?
be right back.
Well, if you
Yeah,
like sort
some
of
armor.
medium armor.
Yeah.
If you're a ranger, you can have medium armor typically. I think. I imagine.
Yeah, like
Which-
leather scale mill.
Which I think does help to better show off the kind of race. Because unfortunately, oftentimes, at least in my opinion, it seems like showing off just the face doesn't really do much. So showing off that there's a short stack is good.
One race trait that I actually had an idea for that I want to try incorporating on something is a small size race that gets to ignore small size weapon penalties. So like, even though they're small, they can still use a halberd without any disadvantage.
I like that idea.
Yeah. It's a simple trait and it's not going to be that game breaking. It does negate the penalties of being a small race thing. So it could be fairly potent because you could get like a halberd and a medium sized mount, which would be great. But that's
the
about
only
it.
caveat is that they have to have a Napoleon complex.
God.
I would feel like I feel like there'd be some psychic ability involved in that if they're small and can lift that, or they're just really strong.
It doesn't have to be psychic. It can just be they're really strong. There are red caps, for instance, which are an NPC. They are basically garden gnomes, except the reason why they're called red caps is because their hats are normally white, but they get stained with blood because they enjoy slaughtering things and chopping them to pieces.
Oh,
So,
Oh.
but the thing about them, their unique trait is they can use large weapons, despite the fact that they are small-sized creatures.
Nice.
So it would be basically just taking that kind of trait and using it on the player race. Not necessarily making the red caps a player race, because I don't know if that great as a player race. I mean, they could work, but I don't think they'd be very... Like, you could literally just make a gnome. They...
Thumpity thumpity thump.
It's typing storm there.
furious typing. No, I just remembered, isn't it Dragon's Crown that actually has the High Elf Archer? Doesn't she actually have drills? But Goblin Slayer. Wait,
It hasn't been Goblin Slayer. There might be the
There's-
one in.
No, wait, yeah, Elf Archer and Goblin Slayer has super short hair. I'm thinking, so, the High Elf Archer and Dragon's Crown, I think she has drills.
She might do, actually. I'm going to check.
All I know is that the archers in Disgaea have the drills.
Or the Elf Archer. Yeah, she has braids. Close enough.
Is that everything you're watching Gurren Lagann?
What about Gurren Lagann?
I said, have you been watching Gurren Lagann with this drill stuff?
I haven't been watching it lately.
But drills are eternal. That's the way of a drill. It never ends.
Most drills do end.
Shut.
That's you're defeating the point of your Logan.
Silence, heretic.
You're a heretic!
I'm just saying, if it doesn't end, you can't insert it into a material.
But it's a constant spiral. The spiral just keeps on going. You just can't see it.
Just keeps drilling.
I think that was some of the point or something. You see, there was definitely something like that going on. I think. I don't know. Most of it was kind of nonsense, but it's still brilliant. I love that show.
Keeps turning and turning. That's the way a drill works.
That scene was still pretty high, even if it was like, again, like, I don't know.
Drill go brrr.
No, you can't just keep using spirals. They'll destroy the universe. Haha, Joker.
That's it. That's the entire series.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice thing
Well,
about
in the
Ranger is
second
that
half,
this-
anyway.
Okay. Nice thing about Ranger for this is I actually can show the joints. Because I can make it so that way their arms are uncovered. They don't necessarily need.
Nice.
Conscious design decisions.
Looking back on it, I feel like starting my first ever D&D game with a ranger wasn't a great idea.
Rangers, they are sometimes called new player traps because, like, new players, they always want to be them because they're, like, dexy, they're flexible, they're everymans. And then they actually play them and it's like, wow, I can do a little bit of everything really badly. It's like, so much for Jack of all trades, it's more like, not.
Quite literally, master of none.
Not even master of none, they're not even a jack of all trades. They're just, they can do everything, they're not going to be good at anything. Like, at least with Bard, with Bard and stuff, it's like, yeah, you're sort of good at everything, and you're really good at certain things. With Ranger, it's more like, yeah, you're really good at survival, and you can do everything else, not that you're going to be good at it.
Yeah. Well, also just because of the fact that they can do a little bit of everything.
I mean, I still really like playing like a pacifist bard, though. It's quite fun. Because they have a lot of stuff that can use that, like hypnotic pattern, calm emotions, charm, that kind of thing. I go entire combat without doing a single point of damage, and I still am supporting everyone because Fairy Fire is an amazing spell.
Honestly, Ranger's big issue is, like, their spellcasting ability doesn't really make up for anything because A, their spells that they get are garbage, and B, they are very inflexible about what they take. Like, if they only can get so many spells, they need to be very, very selective. Like, they need a use for their spell slots other than casting spells. Like, Paladins, the reason why they're so good is that they can use... Their spells are usually supposed to be used for utility, because they use their spell slots offensively for smites. Rangers need something similar, where they could use their spell slots to augment their combat ability rather than replace it.
Yeah.
Powered arrows, anyone?
Yeah. It's my immediate thought.
Like, I really like the idea of Rangers being able to use spell slots to come up with on-the-fly means to basically bypass resistances or identify weaknesses and stuff like that, or even like, hey, I'm going to turn my weapons into this element, and like something akin to an elemental weapon but less clunky to use and not require concentration. Or like the ability to suppress a resistance for a moment so that way your allies can come in and finish it off. Like, that kind of stuff would be very in character for a Ranger.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of similar to the way the kind of Ranger class is done in Divinity in Original Sin 2. So they have that kind of stuff, really.
They're meant to use the environment and stuff, and that's why they work there. Environmental effects and stuff would work decently for like a 5e Ranger and stuff like that as well. But like, they have like for some reason this has been the recurring issue. 3.5, Pathfinder, 5e, etc. Rangers, they always sometimes have this. Developers for some reason are like, okay, yeah, we want them to use the environment, so we're going to translate that mechanically by making it very specific, narrow abilities that only work in these environments. Instead of like, oh hey, you gain a benefit based on which environment you're in. Like, if they go to that as an advantage, we're suddenly like, hey, you're in an ice environment. You can either choose to bypass cold resistances and grant this buff to your allies, or you can give yourself additional cold damage. Like, I think if they chose like the start of that at the start of the day, when they start in an environment, would be a cool thing.
Yeah.
Like, have a list of basically like, these are the elements you get depending on the environment. The DM can also decide other ones, and you either choose bypass resistance or get bonus damage. That I think would be cool.
I feel
Or
like
like the idea of
get more of an environmental thing.
yeah, or the idea of favorite enemy. What if instead your favorite enemy came about from you observing one type of enemy for 10 minutes, and then you gain advantages on them until the end of your next long rest, or hell, longer than that. Instead of making it like, okay, you choose one favorite enemy, and this is what you have until you gain your next favorite enemy. Instead of making it something like that, make it something that's flexible and allows you to like analyze and adapt and learn about a monster type.
It'd be a lot more useful.
That's an interesting point. For a class that's supposed to adapt all the time, they sure have a lot of like set in stone abilities.
Set in stone abilities that are very, very narrow.
Yeah.
And yeah, Arcane Archer, they pull off arrow empowerment better than 5e Rangers. Agreed. And they don't need to do spell slots for that.
Do you like my singing voice? I've been working on it.
And yeah, I've heard of the Monster Slayer. It's a fun archetype. I like it thematically. And also some of the spells they get as a ranger are kind of cool. Honestly, like, one other thing that they need to do for rangers is every single conclave or archetype needs to get fixed spells added to their spell list for free. It doesn't have to be many because they only have up to level 5 spells. But like, I could totally see Beastmaster getting like Speak with Animals or Animal Friendship for free, as well as getting like Cure Wounds because you're aiding your animal. Or things that also allow you to summon animals and stuff, like things like that. Some of the rangers and stuff do get spells. Also, Hunter's Mark should be a free ability. It shouldn't just be a spell.
Yeah.
What, you like a cantrip?
No, not a cantrip. It should be like a fixed ability that you can use it as a spell, or you can use a spell slot to cast it, or as a bonus action, you can do it a number of times based on your Wisdom modifier. So it's like, okay, I'm going to cast Hunter's Mark using my Wisdom modifier on this target, so I have it on there, so I'm not using a spell slot. Also, Repid, are you talking about the Pathfinder Slayer? Okay, the hybrid class, yeah. I mean, that's where I got a little bit... I mean, actually, no, that's not where I got the idea. I actually more got the ideas from The Witcher. But the Slayer is a better ranger than a ranger. The thing about the Slayer in Pathfinder is that they are a sneak attacker.
That studied foe thing just sort of sounds like the ability in Inquisitor Rogue. Just like, you look at something and then you just sort of notice its weaknesses and then start hitting it there. Whether it can see or not. It's really cool if using a bow.
Part of my issue with Ranger that I've been finding is that because you dig into so many different skill sets, you have so much complexity to worry about with very little return on it.
So many times before. No matter how much I do this, I never get bored.
What episode of Hiro? I never announced that I'm making another episode of Hiro.
Ah, shit. Here we go again. Again, here we go with shit.
Really? Except this thing.
On me, so drink up, honey. This one's for free. On the rocks, hit me up another brandy. Don't stop, give me space. I'm feeling dandy. Do we deserve this? Is it our purpose? It's just fan service. This beauty on the surface. I like what I like. That target demographic, so much traffic, getting graphic. All your thoughts are so Jurassic. So look a little bit deeper on these values in which I strive. I'll be your sleeper hit. Let me take this thing in overdrive. Let me take this thing in overdrive. Yeah, beat so hard. Heartbeat so hard. Heartbeat so hard. I'm reeling from the burn that I felt within. Heartbeat so hard. Yeah, down under the scotch just to drown my sin.
Oh,
I dream of the
by the way, to those of you who probably weren't here before, if you and are interested in D&D, I learned about this spell, which Salty, I think you'll like for Sichu, if you could get it, but it's like a conjuration spell, so it's going to be awkward to get. Which is this thing called Wrist Pocket, and what it does is you spend an action. It's a second level, and it can be done as a ritual apparently, which is interesting. And basically, what you do is you flick your wrist, and any object in your hand, and you select an object, and it just disappears. It goes into another dimension as long as it weighs weighs 5 pounds or less. And you can just sort of like pull it out and put it back in, and put it out and put it back in for as much as you want for the hour that it lasts. So like, you can literally just do like magic tricks with like flicking out a knife in it out of existence.
Okay, well, you can go the pleb route with knives, or you can be like me and figure out
Pistol.
how many hand grenades you can stuff into that little pocket space.
I think it's only one object you can do, so it's sort of more like the sneaky.
Does a cluster bomb count as a single item?
I think so.
Then we will go with that.
I would imagine anything you use in like one instance would be count as a single item.
So you're sort of like, oh, I haven't got a grenade. Oh look, grenade! Wait! Also, this spell called Time Ravage, which is a 9th level spell, so you're not getting it at any point as Sichu, but it basically allows you to deal shit tons of damage to someone, and if they fail the save, then they only have 30. Then they are aged to the point where they have 30 days left to live.
I like it.
Yeah, so
are like so tricky to make.
yeah, this is a really cool one though. So it's almost like a power word kill, but like terrifying, because it doesn't matter who it works on. They need to, if they can't use a wish spell or a 9th level greater restoration, they will not be able to survive this. Nothing can revert it back.
Honestly, as I said again, that's the kind of spell that you want to cast on your players. You don't want them casting them. If players want somebody dead, they're going to kill that person. They're not going to wait 30 days for it to happen.
True. Also, the spell requires an hourglass filled with diamond dust that is worth at least 5,000 gold. which are consumed. So you use 5,000 gold to cast this spell, which is fair.
Your life will end in 30 days.
Yeah. There was also another thing. What was it? Oh yeah, reality break. Which, name alone, that sounds awesome. And what it does is basically just this person is constantly jumping between dimensions, like what the first option is that like random effects will occur to them. Well, 4 random effects. Like they either just get stunned and take loads of damage, they make a dex save, and if they fail, they take loads of damage. That's definitely the weakest one. They get teleported and take loads of damage and land flat on their face, or they just take crap tons of damage and are blinded. So it doesn't sound that interesting, but to be fair, just the idea of watching a character just sort of be jittering about the place, jumping between dimensions, and all sorts of things happening to them. It's quite cool. Also, also the ultimate no you of temporal shift, which is whenever someone's about to like cast a spell or do an attack, you just yeet them into another dimension for their turn, and when at the start of the next turn they come back, the spell or something didn't actually happen, and they have no idea what just happened. They have no memory of the spell being cast on them or them being shunted into another dimension. They're just like, wait, what happened?
So basically, just villagers' pockets.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're not taking the spell and using it against them. You're preventing it from it. You're undoing it time-wise.
Yeah. Although I think it does actually... It might actually... No, the thing is, it makes it so the attack misses or the spell is wasted. So they do actually use up a spell slot if you use it on them. And also I just noticed, if you cast with higher level spell slots, you can target more things. As long as they're within 30 feet of each other. So you can just make everyone lose whatever action they were about to do. Whatever. Which I think is quite cool. Also a thing that literally makes a black hole, I think. Yeah, there's another... Yeah, it's called Ravenous Void, which is just gigantic black hole. 100 feet radius. And you can place it anywhere within 1,000 feet of you, that you can see. It destroys everything that is non-magical. Well, it's a 20-foot radius sphere with a 100-foot extra radius. That is the vacuum. Anything that gets in the 20-foot sphere is going to die. Or most likely going to die. Take 5d10 at the start of everything, and they need to try and escape that. Which, I think anything short of some ridiculously fast rogue could not escape.
Hello.
Who noticed?
It's Miko.
Miko.
Yeah, Miko.
What's up? I'm drawing a big titty doll girl.
Nice.
I mean, it's a very good use of your time.
Mm.
I just joined, by the way.
It's Nico.
Oh.
I said Nico, goddammit. It's Nico.
It's the land with no pants.
Oh
Yeah.
my. Ooh, yep, we're gonna get demonetized.
Oh no. Oh god, I fuck.
Oh god, oh fuck.
He's got AirPods in.
done drawing. Girl. This doll girl has cake.
I like that.
You do.
Why is that a
Let them
term?
eat cake.
Because when you eat the cake, it goes to your butt. That makes you chunky. You like 'em
I like
big. I like
chunky.
I like big. Copyright famous.
No, just change it to chonk and they'll be perfectly fine. It's not chunk, it's chonk. Very different words.
Chungus.
I like him big. I like him chungus.
God damn it. Also, I still find it really funny that I start drawing the short stack and I comment that I'm drawing the short stack and immediately Salty shows up.
Yes, that is just great.
It's the best thing.
Can't hide these things from me.
You're a living meme, Salty. Also, I was showing my friend how to use CSP. God. After, like, they were struggling with it at first. But after they learned that, oh hey, you can simplify lines and join them together with the vector tool, and you can move them around with the object tool, and they're like, oh my. CSP is a good program, people.
Definitely is.
So they,
Most
so they learn
likely.
how to play connect the dots. Or it sounds like CSP does connect the dots for you.
You connect the dots in the first place, just let you manipulate the dots afterward.
Well, that's even better.
Terraria, I finally managed to beat the Destroyer, and the way I did that was with bees.
Bees?
I used a lot of bee nades.
Bees.
I used a lot of bee nades and a shark tooth necklace. And with that, I was able to... the bees were just doing constant, regular damage throughout the entire body. And thanks to being able to survive, thanks to a few heart lanterns and stuff, I was able to defeat the thing.
So I guess you destroyed him.
Yes, he was destroyed.
It was a very hip way to beat him. That sounds so incredibly hip.
Yeah.
Now you just need a bee gun and the bees need clothes.
Can I just say that the bee's knees is actually way more powerful than it should be?
Yeah, I saw a recommendation saying like, hey, this weapon can actually be good for this fight. Use a shotgun instead, but... Man, bees, man.
But does your shotgun shoot bees?
No, it shoots explosions.
That's about equal.
What if it shot bee explosions?
Yeah, just
Oh
shoot
God, I
exploding
wish.
bees. Kamikaze bees.
They're not exploding bees, explosions that explode into bees.
The guard exploded into bees.
Kamikaze bees.
He already has that. That's what the bee maids do. They explode in bees.
Those aren't a gun.
Remember the bee gun actually like falls off pretty quickly. That's being useful after a certain point. Shame of magic, really.
Let's be honest. A lot of the guns fall off by the time you get it on spot.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the bee gun is a magic item.
That's true.
It literally, there's no bullets involved, it's just bees.
Bees?
Bees!
It's bees.
Let's talk about bees. What about the wasps?
Man, fuck the
No one talks
wasps.
about wasps. It's hip to fuck bees, it's not hip to fuck wasps.
Wasps aren't a good meme.
Especially the wasps in that.
They're not a fantastic Cards Against Humanity card either.
Okay, I draw the freaking bowstring on this. For some reason it decides, yeah, I'm going to make this line part of the finger.
Yeah.
CSP. I didn't ask for this.
I never asked for this.
Never asked for this. Bomb. You see, bomb.
Okay, Jeff.
I never played that game, I just know the meme.
Alright. Let us color this bee-ish.
Big.
Man, when was the last time Jack's Films used that word?
Big. I have no idea, I haven't been watching it recently at all. When did the light switch meme die? Is it dead?
He doesn't reference it anymore, at least.
Yeah.
I think he's killed a lot of the ongoing memes.
That's fair, really. You don't really want them to just keep going for too long. Because let's be honest, the light switch meme did go on for a bit too long.
I do not know what the light switch meme is.
Jack's Films.
I do not
Okay,
know
so
what the light
basic-
Wax on.
So, basically the thing was that it sort of started with this joke. So he does this yesterday I asked you thing, and one of the questions was, what turns you on? And
Yeah.
like 70% of the comments, 90% maybe, were a light switch.
Yeah.
And from that point onwards, people would sort of like do
They would subtly insert it into answers, or sometimes
Like-
not so subtly.
like sometimes the answer was literally if you turned everything to the first letters, it all acronymed to a light switch.
Yeah.
Which sometimes it was quite clever, especially when the comment itself was good on its own. They just make it even more so.
So when it was a covert reference, better.
Yes. Zebra feather
As with all
arrows.
things, when it becomes a meme, usually it becomes ruined.
Well, there's some memes lost good and actually consistently good for quite a while.
You either die a meme, or you die a meme, or you live long enough to see yourself become the cringe.
What
A lot of-
what instantly came to mind to that was Chris Chan and Harambe.
Yep. I never understood the Rambo memes.
I didn't like them.
At this point, the Harambe memes are more like me telling my grandkids about the events that happened and stuff. They're asking me what a gorilla has to do with everything. And it just all spirals out of control from there. And it's like somehow a gorilla dying wound up leading to mass COVID, protests across America. Actually, I just realized that actually sounds really bad.
It does.
You know, one of these
Unfortunate.
days, we're gonna have to explain that to kids and why that's in a history book.
Why people talking about Harambe or the something?
Could you imagine if memes became a thing that were in a school
People
that
love
they
this.
had to do as an academic?
Yeah, I
There
know,
actually
it'd be
is
brilliant. Especially the hieroglyphic ones.
I believe that there actually is a college course that actually is more like about studying memes and stuff.
Yeah, it's part of human culture.
Because
Is it
it's specifically
unhiding
studying
that
like,
story?
yeah, things like that.
I feel like studying memes will only end poorly.
I mean, there's
Like-
analysis to be done.
Yeah, there is. But like
It's
most
sort of-
memes just don't make sense, and that's like the beauty of it, or at least some of them.
Some of them are actually just legitimate jokes and are hilarious, though.
Mm.
Oftentimes they are. But sometimes it is just, random nonsense, and somehow that still ends up being funny, like E, for example. I don't know why
I think
that's funny,
he's a
but...
stupid meme.
I know, but like, it still makes me giggle, like, occasionally. It depends on how it's used, really. Just the existence of E isn't that much, but just sort of using E in certain senses is...
Yeah, I guess part of my opinion comes from my history as a mod in the YouTube chat with people constantly spamming it.
yeah, that's...
I'm being
saying
funny
will
by
always be
saying
my favorite.
repetitive thing.
And then there's also going to be the meme of Noon, thanks to NGO.
It does seem like sometimes with CSP it's hard to tell if lines connect or not.
Yeah, it's like half the time the endpoints are just invisible.
Ow.
I realized my method newly adopted. The easier way to get the outlines is just to move the outline layer to the background, well, and make it bigger there. Boom. Got the border silhouette outline.
Nice.
The scar you've used there makes it kind of... It sort of works. It's like... I'm very serious. Almost. I don't know how to put it. Sort of. Gee, I have no idea how to describe what I'm talking about. The power of shading.
Yeah.
What was that?
No, I said the power of shading because it looks so much more intense now.
Fair, this is some very intense shading.
Mm.
I think it works. Good. She's pretty. pretty strong. Haha.
Hey, Lewis.
I was referencing that one woman from Monsters Inc.
I've not seen that movie in like years.
Yeah, same, but I watched it like 500 times. Chat's still talking about bees.
Good.
Look, do you understand how hip they are?
I just thought that was interesting.
I should publish my B race homebrew next.
You know I'm not going to stop making that joke. That joke is like going to get intensified at that point.
Oh yeah, it's worth it.
I honestly have several character ideas that I want to do now.
I really want to do like a moth person.
Yeah, same.
I mean, you know, you guys probably all know that I like moth people anyway, so.
They're just
Bug
really
people.
fucking cute.
Bug people in general are just really cool to me. And other things. To me.
Horny.
I have a moth that I haven't
Yes.
done anything with.
Everybody, point and laugh at him for being horny.
Ha ha. Great, haha. Great story, Mark. Or whatever, however he says it.
You can talk
What a
about
story,
bees however
Mark.
long you want.
These are always a welcome discussion topic.
They're wonderful creatures. They're adorable. I love them.
They're vital to keeping the planet alive. Or
Yes, but that's
alive.
just a bonus.
Don't you know that the
And they're
bees
hip.
are the source of Mako?
Alright, it's been 3 hours, everybody, so I'm gonna wrap up the stream here. Got 3 things of art done, so that's good. And it's all D&D related.
Yeah.
Got my Froggo. Got the patrons Warforged, and got the porcelain.
We also talked about bees. And many other things.
Bees!
Alright, so I'm gonna cut the stream here. Thank you all for watching. Remember,
Yeah.
everybody, Black Lives Matter.
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
Absolutely.